you're not allowed to come here and be co-host
No.
unless you bring something from the Google.
That is
to
a
talk
prerequisite. I have to sign
That's
a
right.
10-page
That's
documentation that said I had to do this.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So, what did you bring from the Google to talk about today?
So today I wanted to talk about something that's pretty important, something that that we really want, something that we call authentic, and I want to give two different examples. When you think of Richard Branson or Kobe Bryant, what do you think of? What kind of person do you think of? What first comes to your mind?
Drive, ambition, and success.
Right. These are two types of people who could probably walk into the room without saying a word, and you know that they had a mission, that they had a passion, that they were something that they were more than everyone else.
I could look in their eyes, and obviously I could pick some other people like that, and I could just tell that they are trying to improve themselves today for tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have that feel.
It's a bigger goal than they are.
Yes.
It's something that's a bigger mission.
So now, I don't know why that is.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
All right.
Yeah, so you just led right into this.
I told you how. Okay, all right.
So what the it factor is, I call it transformation identity. Is what identity transformation is what I call it, actually. And what this means is we look at people, let's say like a Branson or Kobe Bryant, and we think to ourselves, not only is there somebody who's always doing something different than everyone else, but we believe him. It's sort of like when Mike Tyson would walk out to the ring and people would go, oh my gosh, this guy's going to win. Or when, a Tiger Woods would go out there and even if it was behind would still come back out and win. We understood this about him. So let's break down what identity is.
Okay.
So identity is really a way of describing who you are to yourselves and to the outside world. It's much like branding, and I want business people to think about as branding is the same thing as identity. They're going to be intermixed in this conversation.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you think about a Virgin Atlantic, for example, or Nike, there's a feeling, there's something you get, there's a certain association that you have to it. Your identity is the same thing, both internal and external, okay? It has both positive and negative consequences. So the identity that you have for yourself now allows for you to see certain opportunities, but it also allows you to ignore other ones. And you can also fight for more of your limitations. So identity becomes very, 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 very crucial. The thing about identity, though, is nobody really takes the time to design what the identity they need to have, like a Kobe Bryant, who when he made Mamba Mentality, he realized he needed to go to the next level in the NBA and said, wait a second. If I were to do this, if I became like a Mamba, how would I attack it? How would I learn? How would I grow? What would I need to do? And that way he became, of course, one of the greats out there. Identity also shapes how we act, how we learn, and influence ourselves and others. And this becomes very important because people will talk about wanting to have this.
What you just described is very hard to do intentionally.
Yes. Well, but again, this is why this is really good. This is why there's only very few. That's why there's only one Richard Branson, one Kobe Bryant, and there's everybody else.
Because I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't. If you gave me 10 years, I don't know that I could define it for myself. Right. Like this, I might have an identity.
Right.
Right.
You do. Well, you do have an identity.
Well, but I mean, my motto.
Yeah.
Rain, sleet, or snow, don't you worry, you can count on Joe.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
The problem is, I don't know if I could have ever defined that in like this planned way back 35 years ago when I said that, right?
Well, here's the cool thing about it.
So the intentional part of it is what's tricky.
But it's the same thing if you're going to learn something for the very first time. You don't expect to know everything. You're just learning to learn the basics. It's where you have to have grace in this whole thing, knowing like, here's my outcome, here's what I want to do it, but here's my first step, and I'm going to kind of walk through this. So it's not that you have to have the final answer now. No one's ever looked at this and go, well, one day I decided I never changed. It doesn't happen that way. If you looked at, again, a Kobe Bryant, or you looked at like, Branson.
Look in the mirror, say something good.
Right.
Tomorrow, move in that direction.
Right. What do we got to do next? What's going to happen next?
Okay.
Now,
got it.
Here's what's interesting. And I love this example, and this is actually what I call an Olympian mindset for a powerful identity. And I'm going to read this to you.
Say that again.
It's an
that was a whole bunch of words.
It was a whole bunch of words, but they mean everything. It's an Olympian mindset for a powerful identity. Okay? I'm a finely tuned swimming machine programmed to swim, win gold, and repeat. That was by Michael Phelps.
That's what he said when he looked in the mirror.
That's who he knew he was. He'd have to look in the mirror. He knew who he was.
Right.
On the days,
after a while, you stop looking.
It is. But everything around him supported him. It doesn't matter how cold it was. When he talked about on Christmas morning being out there doing it, talk about doing it 7 days a week for 5 and 6 years when no one else was doing it. He goes, this is my job. This is what I do. I won the gold. Great. Now I'm going to do the same thing over again, over again, over again. He knew himself that well. Now, he didn't know that in the first day. And by the time 5 years later, 10 years later, he's still figuring it out.
You know that statement that is remarkable to a guy like me?
What's that?
Because, I'm kind of an ambitious guy. And, I kind of is the last statement. And I do it over and over again.
Yes.
I mean, that is the remarkable thing of that statement to a guy like me.
Right.
That puts him above a guy like me, right? Because I would never think to say that.
Right. Well, here's the thing about this. I think that Phil Jackson had the best, really kind of the coolest description of success. He goes, you're only a success the moment you do that successful act. That means the next second you're not successful anymore. That you have to do something new. So we don't get to rest on your laurels just because we won a ring yesterday or last week or last year. I don't care. What are you going to do right now to be successful? And that's how you train. But that's an identity because most people won't do it. It's a maybe should or maybe never going to happen. So that's how we create a powerful identity. Now, there's one last part I want to make sure I get in here. There is a cost to having a limited identity. And what that is, a limited identity, you know what a governor in a car is?
No.
A governor in a car says your speedometer could do, let's say, 160 miles an hour in the speedometer, but your car can only do 110. It will not allow you to go any faster. That's a belief. This is why you have to look at what your beliefs are, because you may think, because you tried on, and typically most people try on from other people, and they take these beliefs on thinking they have it, but they're going, why can't I do anything more? Why am I having struggles? Why is it I'm not able to move forward? Why? Because there's a governor on there they haven't figured out yet. And so they won't be able to do anything. It will actually be a struggle for them to perform. It'll be a struggle for them in life.
Mean, like I hear a NASCAR restrictor plate.
Right. It's like trying to take imagine put one of those in the car and say you can only do 110 miles an hour right now. The car has more. Now here's the thing about it. It has nothing to do with the ability. Has everything to do with the limitation of the mind. And the thing in the car, it's the same thing here. People will go, well, they have a lot of potential. And you'll hear this a lot. Yes, everyone has potential, but their beliefs and mindset will limit them to what they can do. And this is why you have to learn to audit, to look at them, and we're going to walk through a process of how to do that. A limited mindset can also prevent you from growing. And here's the other thing I want people to think about. If you have a limited mindset or identity in business, you will not see the opportunities that are in front of you. Because if you believe that it's hard, that I'm never going to find it, or I'm not one of those people, someone right next to you could be telling you that they could be a good client, a referral, partner, whatever else, and you will miss it. Why? Because your brain has something called the reticular activating system, and that is designed to always make you right, good or bad. So you have to always tell your mind, this is what I'm looking for, this is how I will notice it, and this is how I will attack it. And you train it every single day, just like you would if you're Richard Branson, Michael Phelps, Kobe Bryant, any of those guys.
Interesting.
So I do want to attack part 2, but how much time do we have? We got a couple minutes.
You got 3 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. So let's talk about the very first way. What I have is 3 steps to creating a powerful identity. So step number 1 is I want you to go ahead and look at what is your current identity. And what I mean by that is I want you to look at a current area you're working on now, whether it's business, life, health, wherever else like that. Really look at what that is. The second question you're going to go is,
we talked about this last week.
Yes.
That's not easy to do.
No, it's not. And you have to be honest with yourself. You can't lie, because if you give yourself BS, you'll think you're doing it, but you'll never answer. But you'll be okay with it.
Lying to yourself.
Right. So this is where you get to be raw, be open, be honest with yourself, because in the long run and the short, that's the only thing that's going to matter anyways. You're going to take a look at that. What are those currently? What are the beliefs, the thoughts, the ideas that I have in this area? Also, look at the habits and rituals that you have. Those will be a big determination of what your identity is, because those define you. If you know that you're a certain person who does certain things at all certain times, and when things get tough,
right after this show, I'm gonna go smoke a cigar. Yeah. Now, you know that.
Well, that's a good ritual. I love that. I would join you too. Cigar and a whiskey, I'm good, and stuff like that. But those are okay. It's not saying that everything you do is bad, but it's uncovering, for me to attack this goal, to me to go after this outcome, for me to make this change. What is going on currently? How am I currently looking at this? I need to be honest with myself. I need to go for a checkup. I need to find out exactly what's happening. I need to get the diagnostics, if you will, because I cannot lie to myself. So that's where we want to go from there. So take an audit, and that's what I call it. Audit yourself, where you have a list of things of going, okay, what is it currently that I'm doing? And here's the other thing too. Ask the people around you that you can trust.
Olympian mindset.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to go and we're going to talk about this.
Okay.
So we want to talk about identity transformation and what it's going to take.
Okay.
We discussed the very first part to create a powerful identity is to identify your current identity and those certain beliefs that you have right now about that.
Okay.
What those are. Be raw and real about that. The second part too is audit them. And what I mean by audit them, look at them. What are the costs of the current beliefs that you currently have? So there's some advantages, but there's also cost to it. See what they are, noticing what is it costing me? What is it preventing me? What's happening here? And this is always going to be in line with what your goal or outcome is, of who you need to become to make that goal happen.
Right.
You're going to also want to identify the ones that are preventing you from taking your business or your life to the next level. Okay, so does this fit with where I need to be or not? And then the other bonus question here is,
because if it doesn't fit, I got to go back and audit again.
right.
I got to read.
Well, you could look at your auditing them right now. Is looking at them, going, okay,
Right.
are these values that I think I have that I thought I had that were good? Are they really helping me? Are they not? Do I need to get rid of them or not? But here's something that's what most people miss when people are looking at their beliefs to transform this identity. They'll actually there's certain beliefs that they will have that actually are good, that they support them. They're not helping them in their journey, but they feel good to have them.
Interesting.
Yes. So you have to look at, maybe you lie to yourself, well, maybe I have to wait because business takes a long time. Or maybe I have to look at it this way because I need to go to school for a couple years. Or maybe I need to do this because no one gets in shape that quickly anyways. So you have to look at those and go, okay, because what people will do, well, I'm going to have it in a couple years. I really want this, but you know what? I've got this over here and I've got to let this happen first.
Right.
So you need to know which ones are serving that right there and then get rid of them or change them or edit them or make them what you need to. Number 3 is I want you to become unstoppable. This is where you get to design new beliefs that take you to that next level.
And it really is, in my case, it really was a drive to get on the bike
Yes.
and listen to those books.
Right.
I wanted
Yes.
to do that.
Yes.
It was an unstoppable move
Right.
that happened to be positive.
Right.
Because before it was unstoppable,
Right.
I was going to sit on that recliner and eat that
and eat the pizza
and watch the football game.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So here we do. Become unstoppable means you're going to define your goal and what it is like at the next level. What that really would be like if you were to think about how you would act, what you would do, who you need to become. What is that person like? What is it going to happen? Who would be around you? Really on your mind's eye to really consider, if I was to immerse myself, who would I have to be as this person to make it happen? What would be around there? You now want you to think about who you have to behave, what you'd have to do, how you have to think and learn. All those become the biggest advantage. And here's the other thing. Once you kind of figured all that and start sorting it out, just take the next smallest step. Don't get bogged down. Because what people will do is go, God, I got this big goal up here.
Right.
I know I have to become
Right.
this person, but there's so much in the way. What do I got to do? I don't care if it's the next small. Send a text message, get your shoes, write a business, do something that's going to be able to take you to the next smallest step. So those are the main 3 areas. But I do have something where I call extras. And the extras that I have here is the first one is role modeling. If you want to be good in business, find someone who's really good in business. If you want to be an athlete, find out what that person's doing and then copy that. Watch them, study them. Success is a study. This is something that people have heard from different people, and it's 100% accurate. Find new ways of becoming successful. Let the journey be creative. What I do is I think you should imagine you're an 8-year-old at Disneyland. They have no limit to their imagination, and business people don't either. Anyone who's successful does not have a limited
Right.
imagination. They are
I'll
very
tell you
creative.
something else what I've learned over the years. So many people are embarrassed to say, hey, that's what I want. Can I learn that from you?
Yes.
And the truth is, most business people, they welcome it.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
would be
Yeah.
more than, now that, listen, if you want to be a business broker, I'm probably not going to tell you 2 or 3 tricks of the trade that I do, right? You know what I mean? But I'll probably give you 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know
might
what
as
I
well
mean?
ask.
Right,
It's
right,
not. It
right,
doesn't hurt
right.
anyone to ask. And maybe when your new beliefs, it means
Right.
I communicate easy with people or go after them.
And,
Yes.
and if you tell me you're moving to Virginia, I'll say I'll give you 100%, right? So,
Right.
but the point that I'm making is, in general, you'll get a good amount of information
Right.
if you just say, I want to learn
Yeah.
how to do what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and that's one thing to look at. Am I the type of person that would do that? Do I need to make that a person? What I need to learn how to do, or can I bring some other people around me who can help me do that? Get resourceful, get creative, and here's the last one: enjoy the journey as much as the destination.
I hate hearing that.
Yeah, too bad.
That's just a nasty way to end this.
I love that.
You understand?
No, but it's fun. In the end, it's all it's going to matter.
Right.
In life, people are always thinking, well, when this happens or when that happens.
Right.
How many people have ever had a big dream, a goal, someplace they wanted to do, something they wanted to get to. When they got there, they're like, is this all there is?
Right.
And in reality, it was everything along the way, the good and the bad.
The truth is, you don't really remember what you got. You remember how you got there.
That's right. We remember everything about it. And when anyone who's successful in life, they're not going to, you can't give them the success. They're going to like, it took me all those years to make this happen.
I think I've told you this 100 times. My goal, growing up when I was much younger was to have a house on the lake and a Cadillac in the garage.
There we go.
And the truth is, now I look at the Cadillac in the garage and the house on the lake, and the only thing I really remember is what it took to get there, like those memories, and that's what makes it enjoyable. Not really
what did I have to do to get
Cadillac
there?
don't mean that much to me now.
That's right. That's right.
It's getting old, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Are you done with the Google?
I am done, and I'm ready to introduce our next